YouTube, it's Brian Phillips. Look at this awesome little car, truck, four-wheeler, 1/16 scale from Loolinn. We're bringing you this, the Ravage M16 race truck. Yes, it is super cool, four-wheel drive, and really fun. It's a ready to run. It comes with this transmitter, pistol grip style. The auxiliary button doesn't do anything, just so you know. We had to figure that out the hard way by reading the manual. And those two LEDs do have to be installed. It's super easy. We'll show you in the Unbox build and radio setup. There isn't much of the radio setup anymore on cars. We've adjusted our suspension a little bit tighter, and we haven't seen it at full speed. Did a little bit of indoor driving with it, but without further ado, here we go. So it's got a little bit of speed to it. Good braking. And the brakes work, and then the reverse works, which is not uncommon, but the thing has definitely got a little bit of speed to it for being a 1/16. It's called a race truck, but I would say it's probably gonna get beat out if you buy the optional brushless motor. This has the brushed motor in it, so yes, and that is some harder snow that's been from our snow melt. And so we figure this would be a great place to demonstrate the speed and performance. Rocks are hard. And so we obviously like to show these things in environments that might mimic closely what you're gonna use at home. That is so cool. Let's get some close shots of the jumps here. You wanna go up there closer, camera crew? I'm gonna get some high-speed jumps for you. Obviously the grass has grown tall, and so we didn't really get a good cutting at the end of the season. But I just love the way this thing is, it's flying around. And funny enough, it really goes about the same speed almost in reverse, which is unusual. Usually reverse speeds are quite a little bit slower, but I mean, you can practically do jumps backward. Of course, it's a little bit slower, but I'm really liking the controllability. It's fun to drive. And of course you have precision and you have full proportional controls, so you can turn however much you want. It's not like one of these cheap Walmart or Target knockoffs where you're gonna get it and it just only goes full left or full right. You know, I remember as a kid, we used to get those all the time, and it had an arrow that pointed in all the directions. And that meant, yep, you can do that, or you can do this. That was all you can do in the combination they're in. This is full proportional. You can run it like a crawler. It's got really good four-wheel drive capability. And of course, I've then high-centered myself immediately. The hand of God must come in. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna drive down the driveway, and we're gonna go to our normal filming area for our off-road vehicles, and we're gonna see if we can even get to it. Unfortunately, I believe there'll be a glacial run in that area. And so you can see on pavement, that is full speed. I definitely probably need to do a little bit of trimming if I want that thing to go forward and not have to be constantly corrected. Love the sliding, super fun. Now this does have water resistant electronics. Show you a little bit of juicy stuff here. Definitely does that no problem. And as you can see, it gets around just fine. Love looking at it tearing stuff up. I just hate tearing up my own stuff. Off the edge, amazing. Tall grass, does it get bogged down? Probably.
That's really tall though.
Ooh, that's hay grass though.
Yeah.
Okay, so back seems to get it out of trouble. That's so weird. Probably because the nose hangs over more going forward, or it's the uphill performance. I bet it's just knocking the scales down. Let's see if we can do the glacial drive. Come on now, yeah, baby. Get up there. Woo, she's slick, I can't quite make it. Oh, that is so cool. Wow. Really happy with the performance for being a brushed motor. Guys, I think, ooh, look at that. You'd see the differential at work on that front wheel. Amazing, guys. That's pretty good recovery. That is a steep hill and definitely would cause challenges for many different vehicles. Okay, so this is our normal filming area. As you can see, we've had a little glacier start, but I wanna see what it looks like driving on the glacier. Oh, that is so cool. It's like a half pipe. Well, it's like half of a half pipe. But that is so much fun. Look at that. I love it. God, I love it. And so guys, as you know, this last summer, we worked on making this little drainage channel because we wanted to clear out this nasty mosquito breeding ground. And as you can see here, good range. Should be no problem getting out there, reaching out and touching something. Ah! get out of there. That is actually really fun.
I'm kind of
impressed.
Shocked. I'm also glad that you're the one that's gonna have to go get it if you have a problem.
Oh no, I don't think we're gonna have a problem.
I don't think you're going to though.
This thing is gonna do great. And watch, you can go right up the hill with lots of inertia. Oh, we bogged out. But it's really fun to drive, and it's definitely easy to drive. I'm not having any troubles. Oh, that's so fun. It's frozen down there, but it's super fun. Oh, love that I have to slide up the hill. And love those little waves and everything. Super fun. Cool. So guys, if you're looking for something fun for your kids, maybe you got a little bit of Christmas money left over, you know, that Grandma Jones gave you, or you've got your great aunt that sent you a letter and you didn't get it until just now. Look at that, we only got 2 wheels spinning. Come on, where's the locking differential? Get off of there. Amazing. Then what you can do is you can use it and put it toward this amazing little fun creature. It's definitely the M16 race truck from Loolinn. Gotta love it, driving off the edge. Woo! Oh, that is so much fun. We're gonna just drive around these trees. Oh, I'm loving this little area with the snow.
I did not think that you were gonna be able to do that.
I didn't either. That is so much fun and really cool. You can see where the waves are. Oh, gotta love it. Do you wanna go down there and see if you can shoot from the side there?
I don't know, I can try, it's pretty muddy.
Yeah, I think you can. I think you can. No, go in front, go in front. Show them what you're looking at. It's muddy.
This is muddy.
I have to show the camera crew where to walk.
Where do you want me to go?
I have to show her the footsteps to take. Oh. Look, we have rocks here, so you can walk on the rocks and then just commit. Otherwise you'll fall. Yeah, it is frozen.
That's the problem, is the commitment.
Scared. There you go.
Okay.
All right, awesome. Now we can see it a little bit better and get some closer up shotters. Now I gotta say, 1000 milliamp 2S battery is what this thing comes with. I think that is a good LiPo match for this. The battery's super easy to load. There is a power button on the side of the chassis that shoots out so you can see it. Now those lights are also part of the chassis, so you don't have to worry about taking the lights out every time or disconnecting a difficult to disconnect cable, which I just love that that's the fact. Let's see if we can make it between this. That is so cool. That's about like 3 feet deep right now. It's so fun. Oh no, we've hit a tree. But I love the reverse. We've only got stuck. Only the hand of God one time had to work. That is amazing.
You haven't flipped yourself over yet.
Not yet. Wow, actually I didn't even think about that, but that's so true. Now that you've pointed that out, I'm gonna go ahead and tempt fate.
Okay.
Let's see if I can get back out. And guys, I must say, it's not the speed demon that some of you guys might think it would be, but honestly, this is enough to have a good time. It's not so slow that you're just kind of like, okay, when's it gonna kick in? So I really do enjoy it. And by the way, these are not easy terrains, guys. This is steep. I could barely walk up that if I wanted to. So I'm really impressed with it for being a small and really, if you get right down to it, an economy RC car compared to what we're seeing lately. I mean, $200-300 is not uncommon for these RC cars in this size class if you get into the smashers or even a more robust crawler. But at the same time, I would definitely say this thing looks amazing. It's got lots of features. Now, of course, one trick too, if you get a car and you've driven it through a bunch of snow and mud and stuff, and you want to clean it off, what I do is I put it in the sink. I run warm water, a little bit of soap, and I just take it in there and plop it right in. And next thing you know, she's cleaned off, ready to go inside the living room again after it's had a chance to sit on the drying mat for a few minutes. It's just so much fun, even over barbed wire. We found its Achilles heel. It's just that super tall grass. Oh,
I think you caught something.
I caught something. It's one of these things. One of those things was up in the front suspension. I think it's good now. Yep, it's free. So much fun. I can't believe these little berms of snow are as much fun as they are. Do you want to try it?
I'm gonna get stuck.
You think so?
Probably.
That is so cool.
That is pretty crazy though.
Uh-oh. Is the hand of God gonna have to come? Oh, look at that snow shooting everywhere. All right, let's go see what happened. So guys, I cleared this path with the tractor so we could get down to the gas tank in case we ran out of gas and they had to refill us in the middle of the blizzard. We had a blizzard right around snow time, or around Christmas time.
Christmas, yep.
And as you know, it was kind of like a polar vortex all across the country. And so everybody was getting cold and crappy, terrible weather. Oh, that is crazy. Look at that, I can stand on top of that. It is, I wasn't joking about the Glacier, folks. There's like a crevasse here. What the heck? That is so cool. There's like literally a crevasse there. So we love bringing you guys these cars. We love showing you the capabilities. And we know that you probably come here for fixed wing stuff and aviation related stuff. But at the end of the day, we love this stuff too. And we love having the opportunity to bring you these really fun RC toys, cars. And believe me, some of them are just toys. I would say this is probably somewhere between toy and hobby grade, because I believe we can get some spare parts.
And some upgrade, there's some upgrade options.
You can upgrade to a brushless motor, and that is something that would greatly increase the speed. Also, there's a warning sticker. Be careful about hitting that motor when you pull the lid off. And that is one other thing I want to show you. Camera crew, can you hold that? These things come off super easy.
Yeah.
And if you're old and blind like me, which I'm not old or blind, I just pretend to be one on TV, they're hard to get out.
But also for kids, they're challenging.
They're so much easier when you've got this little plastic thing.
Yeah.
So it really makes a big difference. And yes, you do have to pull off the cover. And no, I'm not a fan of that. But at the same time, you can't really get away from it in the size class. It's very unusual that you can load the battery without going ahead and pulling off this plastic. And yes, we did have to put those decals on. So you get to do that, super fun. You can put your own decals on, or you could replace these with your own if you don't like these. It just comes with like the blank body color, and it is covered in clear plastic. You have to peel that off. So it's a really nice car, and just look at how nice this thing is made. It's got really good four-wheel drive, nice bottom plate. It is made of a polymer, but it's super thick, and a lot of steel construction in here. I was a little bit disappointed to see some Phillips screws where I expected to see something a little bit more robust, but then like on the wheels, they did at least a hex drive and Phillips. So that combination helps. It makes it a little bit easier. One thing I did like is that a lot of the parts that might break are accessible. And that's something that's been annoying for me, as my kids have played with a lot of these cars, and they do eventually break a lot of these cars. And so I end up having to fix them. Well, I don't want to spend 3 hours taking 7 components off to get to one screw. That's really frustrating. But on this, on this car, it seems like we've done pretty good, this truck. And we haven't had a lot of problems like that. Oh, that is so wet and gross. Look at that. Okay, so we're gonna dry this thing off, and we're gonna just enjoy it a little bit more in closing. But guys, if you wanna help support us, if you enjoy what we do here on Brian Phillips RC, the long format content really kills our numbers on YouTube. And so our ad revenue and everything always sucks, and that's just part of it. But that's one of the sacrifices we make to have a better, more robust RC review for you. And if you want to throw us a bone because we're able to do that for you, what you can do is you can buy this or another car or another truck, helicopter, quad, VTOL, airplane, you know, whatever it is that we have offered on there, weed whacker, telescopic, chainsaw, whatever it is. That's the way you can help us, is just buy the thing that you like. It's not like we want you to buy everything that we review, because that would be ridiculous. But at the end of the day, because we've reviewed thousands of items, but at the end of the day, if you like this thing and you want to help support us, all you have to do is buy this. You can use whatever coupon codes, whatever discounts you've got. You can store up whatever bucks or programs that you have at these different various affiliates that we work with, whether it be an Amazon affiliate through Loolinn in this case, or Horizon Hobby or FMS or Hobby Zone, or whatever it is, Banggood. It doesn't matter which one or which variety you happen to land on for a particular item. When you buy from the links, they send us small commissions, and that's how we fund this channel. We have a family of 6. I work a full-time job. I work 50 to 60 hours a week. I've done it for 18 years this year, and I've been doing that for a long time, and I want to do this even more because I really love doing it, and I love bringing you high quality content. We have been debating about the possibility of going to a shorter format, and we know that that's going to freak some of you guys out. But at the end of the day, what we're trying to do is we're trying to grow our reach so that I can have a little bit more time with family. And we want to do this, and this is my goal, and being with the family is the big part of the goal too. So at the end of the day, that's what we're aiming for, and you're helping us to make it a reality. And so we want to extend our hand of thanks to especially our Patreons, but really at the end of the day, PayPal supporters really brighten our day. but you can't depend on that because it's a once in a while sort of thing. And thank you for that, by the way. But then really, the main source of revenue comes from sales. And so what happens is if you guys like these things and you buy them, that helps us to build rapport with these different companies that we work with. And that's how we make this a reality and not just a fun thing that we do on the side. It is a very fun thing that we do, but it's certainly not on the side anymore. It's become basically a full-time job for the two of us. So anyway, we love doing it. And we love being able to do it together. It's amazing being able to spend so much time with my wife. And I love my wife and she loves me. She tolerates me. And we get to do this together, which is super fun, and it's an honor and a privilege. So we really appreciate you guys as we go into 2023. Hopefully you're not watching this in 2027 and everything is out of context. But we love doing this stuff, and the best way you can support us is just buy these amazing products when we bring it to you. If you don't like this product, we get it. There's gonna be a lot of bad fits that we bring to you. Just when you see a good fit and you decide to make a purchase, buy it from our links, and that's how you thank us. Also smash the like button. That's super easy. If you don't like this product, if you like the way that we reviewed it, that's what we do. Unfortunately, when you do a lot of reviews, you get thumbs down on products that people don't like. That is not the way it works. You're giving us a thumbs down on our review. You're giving us a thumbs down if we review a bad product. So make sure you're not punishing us for crappy stuff, because when we get crappy stuff, we tell you about it. And look at it like this. You could buy the crappy stuff and spend the money, or I could buy the crappy stuff and spend the money, and then you can watch how crappy it is and then not spend the money. And yes, that's really the way it works. We have worked it out with every one of these affiliates we work with. If they suck, we're gonna say they suck. If they're great, we're gonna say they're great. But we are not gonna say that it's the greatest, because it's not. This is not the greatest. It lacks in speed, it lacks in rear-facing lights, and it lacks in softness of tires. But it did amazing on that ice and snow and grass. And so really, every item that we review on this, and we reviewed hundreds of RC products, if not thousands by now, every one of them has a niche that it fills. And we're just helping you to decide if it's gonna fill the niche you're trying to fill. And at the end of the day, there's probably 1,000 items just like that you could find online right now, and they're all gonna look good, and they're all gonna have similar specs, and they're all gonna have different colors, and they're all gonna have different sizes and shapes and small little minute differences, because most of them are made down the street from each other in similar factories. No, not the same factory, but they're probably making them for the same brands. And so make no mistake, when you work with China, you learn their tricks. We've learned their tricks, we're gonna help you avoid them. Because at the end of the day, the value we really bring to this hobby is A, getting people back into it, B, hopefully growing it, because we want more people doing this stuff, especially in the fixed wing and heli and airspace stuff, where we've got the government kind of riding us on that. Believe me, it's not going anywhere. It's just gonna be a little bit more restrictive at some point. And right now, let's just live it up. But the cars, the trucks, the VTOLs, all that stuff, what we wanna do is get more people into it, because that drives more demand, which drives more choices, which drives the prices down, which also helps us to grow our reach and help bring more to you guys. So it's a win-win-win-win-win, because if we do something that sucks, you don't have to. Anyway, that's basically the gospel truth of Brian Phillips RC, and we hope you guys appreciate it and see it when we're doing our reviews, because at the end of the day, we're watching out for you, and we're also having a heck of a good time doing it. So thanks for letting us be a part of your lives. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't subscribed. We got new subscribers all the time, and if you're one of the new subscribers, welcome, and you're at the right place if you're trying to learn to fly or get into RC in any way. We're gonna help you with it. Stay tuned, so much more from Brian Phillips RC. And yes, at the end of this video, after we're done chabbering, you can see us do an unbox and radio setup and just a little bit of indoor operations, in case that helps you to make your decision. Thanks for watching, guys. And thanks to Loolinn for sending this out. Dear Dave Brian Phillips, we've got a box. We're gonna open it right now. Happy New Year. It's a new, wonderful year, and we're gonna have tons of RC content for you. And without further ado, here it comes. What is this? It is a car something. Amazing. Looks pretty cool. 14 years plus is what it says. The Race Truck M16. Okay, all right, well, let's see how good this thing is. As you know, we predominantly do aircraft on this channel, but we've been mixing in some of the ground vehicles. And so you're watching this on a Ground Wednesday. We'll try our best to keep up with it, but the weather has been terrible, and we had some really nice weather the last few days and been getting caught up, and the ground vehicles are no exception. So super excited to be able to bring this to you here. This is a 1/16 scale. I electric power 4-wheel drive truck, okay? Big manual's on the bottom, so if you're opening this box, make sure you check under there. Looks really cool. 1/16 scale is a little bit of an in-between size based on what we've done in the past. Okay, so that comes off. Really easy packaging, just plastic, or excuse me, not even plastic, it's just cardboard. Okay, what does this say? Please rip off the transparent film before use. The film is to protect against scratches. The body decals can be applied after you have peeled off the film. Okay, I like that a lot already. Mm-hmm. This is gonna make it a lot easier to get in and out. Those things are always really terrible to deal with. Looks like we have pretty good suspension, so let's pull this out. Nice squishy tires, a little bit firmer than what we've seen. That is a pretty cool little ring. It looks like a Phillips and a hex drive there. That's nice. Definitely just springs, but they're soft. I can't tell if that's a strut. It feels like it might be a strut. So like an oil-filled shock. This one feels just like a spring. This one feels like a shock. It's kind of weird. Oh, and there's a power on and off button. So press and hold. What does it say? Do not touch. Okay, hold on. Let's pull this off so we can read it. All these pins come off super easy. That's not something we've always experienced because as you can see, these things fold up, which makes this really easy if you're using this with your kids. I believe me, you're gonna find out how annoying it is to have to always do that. And as you can see, if you lift this up, they're talking about that plastic. This is the plastic. So you can of course leave that on there for a few bashes and then just see kind of how it looks. Of course, it looks gorgeous.
Oh, nice.
With that off. And then does it come with decals? Or is it just decals that you get to pick? Sure. I don't know. Let's see what this says. It says, warning, burn, do not touch motor until it is cooled down. Okay, so that's true, but I also wouldn't apply a decal to a hot motor because that might catch on fire. So I'm just gonna like stick this here and I'm gonna wrap it underneath so it can get all scratched off anyway. But maybe that'll be enough warning to kind of keep things going. Feels like there's pretty good construction here. It's sturdy. Feels like it's gonna take a lot of beating up front. All the ball links have screws that are really easy to access from the top, which is nice. I like that. They don't seem maybe as robust as some of the more expensive choices we've done, but it does seem like it's gonna take a little bit of that play. And then also you can adjust the spring tension with these things, which is pretty cool. So like if you wanted to make that have a little bit harder response, you can run this down like this, and you'll see what's gonna happen is that'll make it catch easier. And so all you're doing is shortening the spring so it's got a little bit more pressure on the spring. You can feel that that's hitting a little bit harder. And I wanna actually bring these down just a little bit too. You're gonna have to get a real close-up shot if you wanna show them what we're talking about here. So this little thumb nut, it's really easy to adjust, and I just want that thing to be a little bit firmer. Super easy to adjust though. I have a strong suspicion they're gonna wanna stay wherever I put them, but if not, you can always go in there and put a drip of hot glue to keep those threads from slipping. Okay, pretty cool. So you can see we've got a little integral receiver here, and it looks like this is the only servo for steering. It looks like a pretty big servo, and it does have a servo saver here, which is nice. It's got a Dean's connector on the end, and then it looks like it's a 2S battery that's literally strapped into the car, which is kind of cool. So let's pop this out and take a look at it. So this is a 7.4 volts at 1000 milliamp hour, 25C rated, and this is a 2S pack with a Dean's output. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. That's the actual discharge port, and then this is the balance lead. So what I'm gonna do is I'll have to get an adapter for Dean's, and so we might pause and grab those and come right back. Okay, so the camera crew brings up a good point. There might be a charger included. And there is, of course. So we're gonna open that real quick. Okay, so we'll just slip this out. It looks like we actually have a couple of headlights here too, which is kind of nice. Headlights or some sort of light. So that's pretty sweet. Looks like you can power that externally, or you can daisy chain them, it looks like. And then this is just the charger. Oh, and it does come with extra clips too. That's super nice because I guarantee you're gonna lose a few of them. Okay, so this is gonna go into a USB port, and then the outlet is gonna be the Hextronics 2S plug. So if you have just a regular run-of-the-mill adapter like this, then we can plug that in. And we're gonna see what happens with this charger. Can't tell, if, looks like a red light starts. And then of course, this is going to, man, they really got that tangled up there, don't they? Mm-hmm. Okay, so we're just gonna unwrap this, and here's how you do this. It is keyed, so you can't plug it in backward, but don't tempt fate. Just find the right way and stick it in there. And then it goes to a flashing green light. Now, you may have nicer, higher quality chargers in your own fleet of aircraft, vehicles, whatever it is that you like to use. And so in my case, I have Deans to XT60 adapters and all sorts, but generally speaking, I don't use Deans all that terribly often. And if you don't have the right type of adapter, it might make it kind of a pain in the neck to do this. So in my case, I have to actually build a bit of an adapter from a few adapters rather than just letting this charge. I want to show you how to do it if you're going to use a more robust charger. Okay, so in order to charge this, you have to plug in the discharge lead. So that takes me to XT60. And then of course from XT60, I have all sorts of other adapters, not the least of which is this one that I'm looking for. Now you could also just build an EC3 or an IC3 that would go out to Deans. If you would be using like the S155, actually makes the most sense for this application. So why don't we look at that rather than the typical S2200 that we would normally recommend. This is way more economical. It does 1 through 4S. And it's got both of these types of plugs. So I'm just gonna plug this in here, get that inserted, and then I'm gonna bring this over, flip the lead the right direction, and you can see even with the adapters and everything, it's making it kind of a tight squeeze, but it's okay. So you can see on the screen, it shows the voltages. So I'm gonna actually press and hold this. I'm gonna go up to 2.2 amps, that's a little bit too much. And I wanna go to about 1 amp. I'm gonna scroll down to start. And I'm just gonna start this charger. And it'll show you it's about 52% charge level. So that's one way you can do it. Now, obviously you can use the provided charger that comes with it, and that's always nice that it does come with it. But in our case, we wanna get ready to rock and roll, so I may end up cheating a little bit. No, I can't cheat because I want the same C-pack. This is a 30C, and that's only a 25C, and this is 1300 milliamps, and that's only 1000, so that would not be fair comparison. So we'll let that thing charge, and as we're getting the rest of this build done, we can see how things are gonna turn out. So obviously you have to also get your transmitter out. Has a pistol grip style transmitter. That's everything that's in that box. Okay, so do not move the trigger before binding is fulfilled. LED is solid on after binding is fulfilled. Do not move the trigger before binding is fulfilled. Failure to do so will cause your vehicle to go out of control. That's always nice to know. Okay, so obviously there's an auxiliary button here. It's a push and stay, and then when you push it, it lets go. It's spring returned. Then we have steering trim and steering switch. That's weird. And then steering reverse, and we have an on and off, okay? And then of course we have a trigger for forward and a trigger for reverse, and then a little bit of a cushioned steering wheel, which is pretty cool. So pretty common in that regard. But what I want to do is, let's take a look at this, because I think this is going to give us some LEDs, which could be pretty cool. But it's also a little bit weird that they're not installed for us. And I wonder if that's just because some people may not want the LEDs. I don't know why you wouldn't want LEDs. But there again, I'm not sure exactly where to put them, because as you can see, there isn't really any sort of a cutout on this model to put headlights. But it looks like most of the time they're recommending they go right here, right in those openings there. Yeah, okay. So that's an interesting way of doing things. Just include the lights in the package. Okay. So I'm just gonna go in here. Let's see how hard it is to pass these through. Looks like they're a square LED, but I can't quite make out if there's like, if it's keyed. So there's a certain way that it goes in versus the other way. It doesn't seem to want to fit. So here, let's just try this. Does it go? There's a little bit of schmutz on mine, but I think that's actually what holds on to the light. So I'm gonna look really close. The camera crew probably can't see because she's not anywhere near where I'm showing. But what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna hold this up because I gotta be able to see to do this. And I think these LEDs will snap in. There you go. So they snap right in like that. And it's hard to see on video, but there is a little tab on the bottom of this. I don't know if I put my finger back there if you can see that tab. So that tab is gonna catch on this LED, but these LEDs are square and they're flat on the top and the bottom. So all you have to do is just make it happen. And it's just kind of an awkward transaction, but once you get it in there, okay. So you can see they're in both sides, so that's pretty sweet. And then of course this is gonna be diverted back here. And you could put an LED, you could probably power that with a 1S pack. But in our case, it needs to plug into this little multi-purpose receiver, multi-function receiver. And I can't see, so I have to pull this up toward my head. It looks like this micro pH connector needs to go that way. I think that's the way it goes. It's kind of hard to tell if it's right. Oh boy. No, I think that's correct. Yep, I can see how it's keyed in there. I want to tell you that there's a super, super easy way to tell, but with micro pH, it's so small, it's kind of hard to differentiate between top and bottom. So after you get that done, you can tuck this in here and zip tie it, or you can tuck it along here and zip tie it. I think I'm gonna just put it here and then run a zip tie through. And they do provide the zip ties and some double-sided tape, so maybe we'll just use the double-sided tape for the moment. We'll do it that way first. And then later, if we have issues, we can go ahead and incorporate the zip tie, which would probably be the best thing to do would be just throw the zip tie on right offhand. But just be careful you miss your steering linkage there. Okay, so if we do that, let's throw one zip tie around there and see how that turns out. Super easy. Okay, one of these zip ties goes all the way on. Now normally you don't want to cut these with anything other than a side cutter, but since this is such a small zip tie, I'm just going to work my blade as I pull this away so I can keep my fingers out of harm's way and then cut the tail off. Pretty simple in that regard. All right, and then we've got this, which is of course our strap that holds the battery, and we'll have to feed that through when we're done with our charging sequence. Now, also, you do have to provide your own batteries for the transmitter. This is not uncommon. It looks like we need AA's, 2 of them. So if you come over here, you can probably see it. It says 1.5 volts AA times 2. They're showing a plus up and a minus up here. You can also kind of tell because right here it shows plus and minus, and then as you slide them in, it would work. So you only need 2 of them, so that's really good. It only operates on 3 volts, that's crazy. So we'll pause, get those batteries and come right back. Okay, so the plus goes up, and then the minus goes up, just like that. Okay, so the picture makes it really clear. Should be no problem for anybody who's doing this type of project. Okay, clip that in there, and then you can turn this on. Got a nice bright LED, so you can tell it's definitely on. I'm gonna turn that off for the moment, and then while we wait for that battery to continue charging, let's look inside of this. And first thing I see is I see some instructions on how to hook everything up. Just pretty cool. There is a power switch down here, but it looks like this one is a power on off push and hold. Okay, so we're not gonna have to worry about that for a minute. And then there's decals to actually be applied onto this vehicle. And so what we're gonna do is we're just gonna go ahead and why don't we just work through that. And right here, we've got a picture that shows kind of what it looks like, but it's in black and white, a little bit hard to tell exactly where things go. I wonder if they have instructions on where things plug in. Sometimes these things, yeah, it looks like we're going into a different language. So it looks like only 7 pages of instructions before it goes to a different language. They did demonstrate kind of how to plug in those LEDs too, but of course we did it for you. So let's go ahead and look at this. And so first things first, we're gonna apply this decal here. which is going on the front. Okay. Just kind of let that set down. Looks pretty good. Looks nice. I always think these decals are unnecessary, and then I get them on there and it looks really cool. So this is the Ravage. Okay. So these are really high quality. It's like a plasticky, thick plastic sort of, not vinyl, but maybe clear vinyl, I guess. I don't know. Pretty sure it's just plastic, but real easy to apply, easy to release and reapply if you were to get it in the wrong exact position. And then the Ravage, the little stickers must go on the hood. And it looks like this goes on the sides, just whatever I see. I'm gonna go ahead and do first.
Do you want to look at the picture on the box?
Oh, that might actually be helpful. I'm just gonna put this here. That's pretty cool. It's kind of fun to do these things. Of course, when you're doing videos about reviews on radio controlled airplanes, helicopters, cars, trucks, quads, all that stuff, all the time, it does get a little bit tedious putting decals on these items. But when it's in your own home and it's your own kids playing with it or whatever, it's super fun. So, okay, so then we've got brake light stickers that go back here. Of course, I can't quite make it out. It doesn't look like they have a side or back picture. So just pay special attention to the cutout shape. So it looks like this is the bottom. It is a little bit ambiguous on this drawing. Now you guys hear that beeping noise. That beeping noise is coming from our more sophisticated charger. We generally use our better chargers because we're in a hurry to charge things. And I charged at a higher rate of charge. Now this one here is being a pain. If you ever get one that does this to you, sometimes you get lucky and just kind of peel it with your fingernail, but if not, just pull the whole thing off and you can usually get what you need out of it. Okay, so pretty straightforward stuff here. That was the first one that they had penetrated all the way down and caused the backing to come off with the decal. Kind of funny, you know, I usually think it's gonna be a waste of time to put the decals on, but these decals, I think they look kind of cool. Oh, and then we have this grill vent, but then there's another grill. Where's the other grill go? I don't know where the other grill goes. Can you tell? Oh, it goes on the bottom right here. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And by the way, not having to cut these things out is nice because cutting these pieces of plastic out is not as easy as it looks, and it's harder to get a good result. So if you guys are buying, see, I didn't quite get that straight. And so the nice thing about this decal style is that as long as you can get a lip pulled up, you can peel it and you won't lose a bunch of your adhesion and have a bad result. You just have to fix it. Now, once you drive this thing and it gets dirty, see, now it's not centered the other way. So I don't know what I'm doing wrong. But what's gonna happen is when you guys get this car for yourself, following the links in our video description below, you can take it out and play with it, but don't take it out, play with it, and then put the decals on. You won't get good adhesion. And I'm thinking this must go up on the top, right?
Yeah, if you look at the picture on the box.
I can't see on the box.
It looks like, yeah.
Why don't you just grab that, we'll look at that. Okay, so there is an orange and blue color too. I don't know if you guys saw that when we opened the box. So yeah, you can, looks like the decals are a little bit different. Oh, that's where this goes. This goes over the back end. So that goes about here. So that's pretty sweet. Of course, you can put them wherever you want. It's not like this is gonna make or break the vehicle. It's just kind of a fun thing to do. And you know what? Now that I do that, I realize, no, they're the same on both sides. Sometimes you have a left and right and they're specific to that. Okay, this part, I don't know where they're supposed to go. I don't see them. Oh, those are like fog lights. That's what that is.
Oh.
That's like a simulated fog light. Of course, there's gonna be like real fog lights on the vehicle. Yeah, I think I got that right. And if you're struggling to apply these decals because you're OCD like me, then you can use an X-Acto knife and it makes it so much easier to apply this. You can just put them right on the tip of the blade, or really kind of any knife or sharp object that has a really small tip on it. And that makes it so much easier to get them exactly where you want, because there's like a little groove cut out in each of these positions. Okay, so then this faces forward like this. M16 race truck. Interesting choice of model numbers.
And then it looks like one of the Ravage ones goes on the hood. Here.
Yeah, but I don't know where the other one goes.
I don't see one.
Maybe it goes on the tailgate. I think yeah, I bet it goes on the tailgate. Because there's room for a decal here. And then there's also this thing, which must be, that looks like it could be something that goes right here to make it look like your tailgate handle. See? And that kind of breaks up the tailgate on the back. Then I'm going to try this right here. I think this will work right here. Of course, these racing logos are usually kind of plastered all over the cars. So that's pretty cool if we can get that to line up. Oh, that doesn't line up straight, dang it. I figured the V would be the center. That was a bad call on my part. And these are high quality stickers, and this is a really smooth surface, so it's actually without much consequence. So I'm just gonna go over a little bit, see if I can center that better. That's a little bit better. Probably not the best choice for that spot because it's just a hard one to center, because that V is definitely not centered. Otherwise, it looks pretty sweet.
Yeah.
And then these windows are like a tinted window, so that's pretty cool. Then of course the two LEDs that operate on the vehicle will be fun. So this is a 4-wheel drive vehicle. It is ready to run 2.4 gigahertz, so it's not like you have to depend on line of sight or anything like that, but it's not gonna have a 1,000,000-mile range. So just be aware of that. You've got the extra clips that come inside the package, which is nice because you're gonna probably need them. You'll lose them soon if it's like any other car we've ever had, car or truck. And so let's go ahead and grab the battery that's done charging. I'm gonna just go down in my menu so I can show you it's at 4.195 and then 4.2 something something. Okay. I'm gonna stop the charge, pull this out. Even with all those adapters, it did make it kind of hard to reach the batteries with this. So we're gonna go ahead and get this plugged in. Now remember what the manual said. If you're in any doubt, have somebody hold the thing up so it can't take off on you. And be real mindful that this is a delicate wire compared to this. And they're both delicate, you know, compared to the territory that you could take these things. You can take these cars and really beat the crap out of them, so just be aware. It's your responsibility to keep them out of water and stuff like that. I mean, they might even be okay in some types of water, but I wouldn't take them out and drop it in a pond. Okay, so I'm gonna take that. You see how that Velcro? I'm gonna take that Velcro and just tuck it in there, okay? So I've got that nice tail. It's hidden from view. And then I'm gonna go ahead and turn this on. And I'm gonna take all this stuff and move it back. And then I'm gonna plug this in, and the camera crew is gonna be aware, and she's gonna protect herself if something jumps. Okay, because it's hard to tell if it's on or not. Okay, it's on. All right, so now it's working. Very good. And we have this like weirdly bright light here on the receiver. That's an unusual thing, but those lights are really bright. So kind of cool in that regard. I definitely like bright lights. And it's kind of nice because then you don't have to worry about it shining through the body. And there we go. But I'm running into the Dean's connector now, so I got to figure out if I can do something a little bit different. There we go. Let's see if we can get that to just relax back there. I wonder if maybe the balance lead should be on the other side. But for now, I think I got it. All right, so now that's in position, and then look, you've got that glow inside the cabin. That's really cool. All right, so the first thing I'll do is go ahead and get these things slid back on. So hold down the body, and then you can slip these things in. Okay, so there's 4 of those. And then basically that's all you need to do to make this thing ready to run. So now when they say ready to run, that means that you shouldn't need to provide anything but the batteries in the transmitter, and then everything else comes with it. Look at the toe in on these. They're like way in. I hope that's not a problem. But really, really cool. We're gonna lay this back here and just give it a quick, slow run inside. because I want to make sure I don't get too out of hand. Going real slow. Okay, very good, fine control, but definitely a little bit, this is gonna be a fast car. So going over the edge even, let's see how the reverse works. Actually, just because I don't want it to fall off the counter, show the people how far over it is. That's pretty cool. I'm just gonna kind of spot this. Sometimes the reverse is not as proportional. Back and then back does reverse, okay? So we'll go back like this. Yeah, it's a little bit speedier on the backward control, but then really good steering authority. That's definitely goes into a brake mode initially. And you can see too, it goes into a flashing light sequence on the actual receiver when you're in reverse, which is an interesting thing. I've never seen that before. Pretty good there. Okay, so now it's fast, so let's see how it does on the ground. I'm just going slow. About 10% throttle is all I'm giving it right now, just because I want to see how the thing handles. The double reverse is annoying because basically you can't do regular speedy backup. Boy, that thing's got a lot of torque. I don't know if you guys saw that, but I just flipped it over just from going from forward to backward. Oh yeah. So the braking is good actually, but then you don't have to worry about actually going straight into reverse and flipping it on its head because it's got really good braking. It's just that it is, when your objective is to go into reverse, it can be a little bit frustrating. Really good braking. So I don't know if you guys understand what I'm saying, but if you're new to the hobby or you're coming back to the hobby, this in reverse, there's forward and brake. So that's full out. Now, until I go out the second time, it doesn't go into reverse, so just be aware of that. Also, there's steering trim, and I want to see if I can adjust that, and I just did kind of adjust it a little bit, but I was mentioning that toe. Definitely having to do a little bit of side-to-side trim, as you can see. But this thing is going to be super fast. Really good turning radius. Let's go out in the living room here and just see what we've got going on here. So this is one of those things where, you know, when you've got LEDs on a car and you want to drive it at night, it is nice, but only having lights on the front is tough. Okay, so there's full throttle and braking. Whew. So definitely you want to make sure that the kids are being careful with this because it is fast. It's not a heavy truck, so I would be super worried about the weight and damaging everything, but I would be more worried about just the general, you know, speed of it. Now also there's an auxiliary button. So when I press and hold that auxiliary, I don't have to press and hold it. It's stuck out, now it's stuck in. Let's see how it does. I can't tell if there's any speed difference there or if it's just the same. Yeah, see, it's able to get up on its own hind legs pretty good actually. And you could definitely flip this thing over, no problem. And it definitely seems to be pretty controllable, but I'm not sure what the auxiliary does. I don't know if the auxiliary is maybe just not hooked up to anything too. So let's show the people real quick, full throttle. A lot of vibration, not a super well balanced wheel. I can't tell which one's really balanced or out of balance. A lot of vibration. Going in full reverse, almost full speed in reverse. Forward, then braking, then back. See the flashing light? Forward, then braking, then reverse. So it's kind of got this like optical feedback as you're driving. It'd be nice if I could balance those wheels because I think you'd get a lot more power. Now, to turn it off, it's super easy. You just press and hold that button and it shuts off the vehicle, which is nice because a lot of times you don't have a switch on the outside of the vehicle, especially on vehicles where you have to take the top off. So hopefully that gives you guys the 10,000 foot view that you're looking for to decide if this M16 race truck is actually worth consideration. Now, obviously you've seen it drive outside, you've seen us enjoy it a little bit more, but this indoor use is just a kind of more of a proof of concept. But we really like Loolinn, the brand, has been good to work with. Obviously, we have links to them, and we work with them just like we do with all these other big brands. But the thing is, sometimes the big brands have really expensive stuff, and Loolinn has an offering that's maybe not quite so insanely expensive, and so that might be what you're looking for. It's something that's fun, that's going to do a lot of stuff, but it's not going to be like, you know, crazy expensive, super detailed, ornate gearboxes and things like that that are going to be, you know, you give it to your kids, and some of your kids are going to destroy things in the first day, and then you're going to be like, why did I buy the $600 one? I should have just got something more economical. That's part of the reason why we do these. It's not so much like we're saying this is better somehow or that those are better. Everybody's RC budget's different. Everybody's RC application is different. And so Loolinn definitely fills a gap for that. So excited to be bringing you this. It's a beautiful looking truck. I think it's definitely cool. It's fun. It's maybe not the fastest, biggest, cheapest, you know, whateverist, but it's definitely gonna be something fun. And I think your kids are gonna like it, or you might like it yourself. But at the end of the day, it is 4-wheel drive. It definitely has enough features to keep you excited, and definitely front-facing lights are helpful. I kind of would love to see some brake lights. I would love to see something that's just gonna give you identifiers in the lower light conditions, because like tonight, we were trying to film this before the sun went down, and then I realized we had to charge a bigger battery that had a Dean's connector. Of course, that expressly prohibited us from using one of our other ones because we got XT60s and we've got different connectors. So because of that, we couldn't get it done in time. And then we were like, well, we'll just put the decals on. But at the end of the day, the lights really help in the low light conditions, and low light conditions prevail in the middle of winter. But hopefully your kids aren't coming home from work late like you. But anyway, I don't know if you're like me, that's the way it is. So anyway, it looks pretty cool. Definitely worth considering. Loolinn makes a pretty good thing. And then feel how heavy this is, Kim Crew. What do you think of that?
Oh, yeah.
It's not bad. It's not nothing, but it's not so heavy that you're afraid it's going to destroy your furniture.
Right.
I also do want to just point out one other thing, is that I know that the tracking on this vehicle does not look very good on camera. That's because it's actually kind of tough to keep going straight. I'm thinking it's going to be better in the outdoor environment, so I don't want to mess with it yet. But the thing is, I noticed there's a considerable amount of toe in and a considerable amount of trimming that needs to be made to get this thing to go straight. That being said, bashers are not the same as crawlers. So if you had a crawler that was set up like this, cattywampus, it'd be a big problem. But I think on a basher, it's gonna be okay, especially if you're doing ramps and things like that. It's gonna be just fine. And also, I really do like the painted wheels. That's cool. I like that effect. I like that it has squishy tires. Definitely inferior to some of the really, really expensive ones we've been reviewing lately, but it's better than some of the cheaper ones that we reviewed. I feel like there's enough traction there. They're definitely pneumatics. You can hear the air coming in and out, and they definitely have a lot of tread, and they don't shoot off the rim when you give it full throttle, which is a big problem, because about the time your wheels start coming delaminated, it just kind of ruins the whole situation, because then you got to stop and figure out a way to re-glue them or replace the tires with something different. So if you're just giving this to the kids, it's gonna be better in that regard. But it definitely has its limitations. It's not gonna be the speed demon that you might think it could be. It's definitely a brushed motor as opposed to a more higher quality brushless motor, or something that's got a brushless motor with a really robust gearbox. Of course, there is a differential front and back because of the 4-wheel drive, but there's not like an actual gearbox transmission, if you will. So definitely some limits, definitely some positives, but everything you want from Brian Phillips RC is gonna just show you what we see and what we found. And so I think it's definitely a good car, and it's gonna be cool, and I think you'll like it in your collection. So if you wanna help support us, buy it from the link in the video description below. Let's go ahead and turn this back on just so you guys can see it. Make sure that while it's turning on and flashing, you don't do anything with the controls, particularly the throttle. And I think that's what they were talking about in the manual. And I don't really know exactly what the deal is with the auxiliary button. It doesn't seem to have any function, but I really do like the car. I think it's cool. I think it's kind of a mix between the monster truck style. I'm sure it could drive off the counter and it would be fine. What do you think? You don't want me to, I can tell.
You think it'll be fine?
Well, I'm sure it'll be fine. I just don't want to damage the floor.
I was gonna say I'm more worried about the floor.
Oh, really? Okay, so let's do it then.
Okay.
Yeah, well, it didn't damage the floor and it didn't damage the car. So that's always that's a win-win-win. And then obviously you've got that nice traction from those tires. So I think it's gonna be a victory. If you guys get this, you're gonna get the fun you want out of it. And obviously I'm having to be a little bit reserved because we have expensive airplanes and trim and things like that that we don't want to damage. But it is a fun car. I think it's going to be even funner when we get this thing outside in the snow or in the rain or something cool like that. But for now, we really appreciate you guys being with us here on Brian Phillips RC. We love bringing you all of the latest and greatest RC content. And if you want to help support us, like I said, check this thing out in links of the video description below. You can support us also on PayPal or Patreon. We have links to that just above. This is a ready to run, so it'll just be one link. And then if you want to ask us questions about other things you've seen in the video, if you ever see an airplane in the background that we're talking about, you know, obviously we're going to tell you all about that in another video. But if you have questions that come up, that's one great thing you can do is just leave them in the comments below, and we'll try my best to get you guys links. Or just look in the description below. There should be a long, long list. Just pay a special attention if you see the same model and that might be in 2 different manufacturers. Just follow the link, see which one you're looking at, and that way you can corroborate your thoughts on it. I don't want you to, you know, go look at this and think, oh, that's an SU-27. No, this is a J11. Or this over here is the PT-19. You know, we might have reviewed another PT-19 for another company at one point. In this case, we've only done the one, the PT-19. Or the 80mm Hawk. These sort of things are all in the links of the video description below. But then occasionally on some of the economy level things, we don't have links on every video. But if you go to our website, brianphillipsrc.com, there should be actual links to the playlist or video of each of those items. And from there, you can find the links on where to buy them. So if you're like, ah, man, I saw you review this one thing back about a year ago. It was a helicopter. It was real small. I can't remember the name because helicopters have random names, just like these cars. Mm-hmm. And so what you could do is you go over to the Brian Phillips RC part, start searching that way. And then if you can't remember the name, you can also go through our playlist. That's the easiest way because you'll have a thumbnail that shows what the item was. And then once you click on it, look in the video description, you'll see it right at the top. So, and if you ever find a link that's broken, just let us know in the comments and we will do our best to get it fixed. We try to prioritize comments like that because it's really helpful to us if we see that a link is broken. And then also sometimes like the link isn't working on your end, but it's actually working. That happens to us all the time because we have satellite internet out here where we live in the country. So anyway, all right guys, that's all we got for you. Happy New Year. Thanks for being part of this. At Brian Phillips RC, we have so much more to come. Stay tuned.